What's happening? Arnold Reasons, and back with another quick question that I wanted to quickly throw your way. Are you playing your part in building God's kingdom? Several thousand years ago, Jesus said something that still stands true to today. And he said that the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Now, trust me when I say to you, I'm not even coming at you right now. I'm speaking from a place of having been convicted by this my very self. Because in other seasons of my life, I've neglected the things that I should be doing to play my part within God's kingdom and been distracted by things that allowed me to be comfortable and complacent. But one of the things that shook me out of that and continues to shake me out of that if I ever find myself straying that way again is remembering that the bigger picture is eternity. The scriptures tell us that if you have been raised with Christ, seek the things above where Christ is, seated at the right hand of God. Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things. For you died, and your life is hidden with Christ in God. When Christ, who is your life, appears, then you also will appear with him in glory. Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things. Now, when it comes to verses like these, one of the extremes we have to be careful of is thinking that that means that anything that has any earthly value is not important at all. That's not the case. You need to have some sort of work that allows you to make some sort of money, whether that's through a business, through employment, or whatever it is. We got bills to pay. We got responsibilities. We need to think about buying clothes to make sure that our nakedness is covered. There's practical things about living here on earth that we still have to take care of. But the bigger picture in these verses is not to become so consumed with the things that are set on earth that we lose the eternal perspective. And when we think about the eternal perspective, that involves the eternal destination of all of those around us. It involves how we are signposting people to Jesus. It involves how we are being examples of what life within God's kingdom looks like. And so it's not a call for us to all say that we need to give up whatever we're doing and jump in front of a pulpit and start preaching through the scriptures 24/7. That's not necessarily what it's about. If that's what you're called to, then sure, go for it. But even for those who aren't necessarily called to that kind of a life, it's about how we practice love, forgiveness, patience, long suffering, and all of the attributes of God in our everyday relationships, in our everyday scenarios, in our workplaces, in our businesses, in whatever we're doing. Those all count towards us playing our part in building God's kingdom. But equally, maybe you're someone who's running. Maybe, just like I was, you're somebody who knows that there are certain responsibilities that you should be doing within God's kingdom, but for one reason or another, you're so focused on all the reasons that you think you shouldn't be doing that thing, rather than actually responding to God's call on your life. When we died and said yes to following Jesus, we handed over leadership of our lives. And so that means wherever he goes, we go. And wherever he leads us, we will follow. He is the shepherd and we are the sheep. And so if the shepherd steers you a particular direction, the longer you run, the longer you're potentially causing countless people from being connected back to what God's design and plan is for them. Don't get me wrong, if we run and we resist, God can raise up rocks to do the job. But speaking for myself, I know for sure that when I meet my maker on the other side of eternity, I want to know that I lived my life poured out, and I want to know that I did all that was given to me. I want to know that I was literally like a wet towel that had been wrung out from every single drip of water that was left in it. I want to hear him say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." That type of commendation is something that comes with great cost. And so if we've truly died to ourselves, if we've truly died in saying yes to following Jesus, and we've truly given our lives over to him to lead and steer the way, then that means we really go wherever he says we need to go. Even when it means taking us places that we don't think that we deserve to be, or putting us in positions that we feel underqualified for. Could it be that those feelings of being underqualified or not deserving to be in a place are the perfect conditions that God wants for his servants to have, so that he can build us up to have his perspective, knowing that we won't make the mistake of allowing pride to take over, because we know that we are where we are and what we are by his grace alone. Are you playing your part in God's kingdom? Peace.